How's it going, everybody? Marvel the Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. Today we are looking at X-Men issue number 109. This issue came out in February of 1978, and today we're going to be seeing the first appearance of Weapon Alpha. Now, who the heck is Weapon Alpha? We're going to find all this out as he knows Wolverine, and he's coming after Wolverine, as we see on the cover today. Pretty awesome cover, I have to say. And so we see that the X-Men are returning back home after that huge mission from saving Lil Landra from her brother Daken, taking power. And we know now that Lil Landra now is going to come home with the X-Men as she is now in exile from her people. So this issue is brought to you by Chris Claremont, who wrote this issue, John Byrne on the artwork, Terry Austin on the inking, Joe Rosen on the lettering page, Andy Yankus, the colorist, and Archie Goodwin on the editing. And so now let's continue the series here. We see that the X-Men, like I said, have come home, as Colossus says here, "My friends, we are home." And we just are just awesome stuff here. Wolverine is itching to get out of his alien costume that he picked up from across the universe here. Nightcrawler's happy to be home. Everybody's happy to be home. And we see here that they're all just going to settle in here. We see that Banshee just gives a big old smooch right to Moira McTaggert here. They've been liking each other for a while in these past few issues. We see Storm, she goes upstairs to her room, and she has a little bit like this garden here. Moira McTaggert's been taking care of it while they've been gone, saving the universe. And I mean, Storm loves her plants, and she gives her plants a rain shower here. And on top of that, she takes a shower herself. And so, some great artwork. Like I said, we see Jean Grey is going to have to deliver the news to her parents. Her parents found out that she is a mutant, and so Jean Grey is going to have that very difficult conversation. Jean Grey remembers back, and this was not shown from last issue, but when the X-Men escaped the Macran crystal, Jean Grey had a talk with Corsair, which is Cyclops' dad. We learned that about 2 issues ago. But we also saw that Lil Landra's people, especially the Emperor here, was going to attack the X-Men, but Lil Landra said, "Do not harm them." She says, "I am the Empire." But then we see here that one of Lil Landra's men here basically says, "Look, we know that you are in line to be the Emperor because of your lineage, but you led a rebellion, and so according to law, you were a traitor. Yet you were right in what you did. We know that now, so you will be crowned, Lil Landra, but I'm afraid it will take time." And so Lil Landra was forced to go into exile, like I said, with the X-Men until all the legal proceedings are done. And so we also see that Jean Grey has that conversation with Corsair. Corsair says, "Please, Phoenix, do not tell Scott that I am his father. I just can't allow him to get hurt like this." Because we see that Corsair is the leader of the Starjammers. And we see that Storm actually found out about the conversation. She overheard, and she's like, "Man, I hope that Scott doesn't find out, because if I were Scott, I would be mad if you didn't tell me." So we see that little flashback, little details right there that we didn't know from last issue. So we see here that Jean Grey again is going to have that uncomfortable conversation with her parents, and she leaves Scott in the room. She doesn't want Scott to accompany. We also learn here that a few of the X-Men are actually going to go on this picnic, and we see that Banshee is in charge of leading the picnic, trying to recruit some people. He asks Scott Summers, but Scott says no. Now we're going to be introduced to Weapon Alpha. We have what we see here, a bunch of men here tracking down Wolverine, but more on that here shortly. We catch up with Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler has a girl that he likes. Her name is Amanda, and he's going to go out on a date with her. We see Colossus. He's in his room writing a letter to his parents. Nightcrawler stops on by, and basically says to Colossus, hey, would you like to go on a double date? But Colossus says, no, instead I'm going on that picnic with Sean Cassidy and Moira. So then we see that while Nightcrawler is about to leave the X-Mansion, he comes across Scott and he's all brooding in his chair, watching out in the window, looking at the conversation Jean is having with her parents. And Nightcrawler levels with Scott here, basically telling Scott, look, you need to just move on. I know you're upset that you're a mutant and you have these powers and you wish you could be something else, but you need to accept who you are. And so while Nightcrawler is having this conversation, Sean Cassidy comes into the room, breaks the conversation up right when Nightcrawler is trying to reach Cyclops here in this conversation. Nightcrawler reveals to Sean Cassidy that he's going on a date. So it looks like Sean Cassidy and Storm, Colossus, Moria, they're the only ones going, except we see that Wolverine is actually going to accompany them on this picnic, but he actually says he's not going to stay for the picnic. He said he's going out to hunt. Storm takes offense of this because she's like, how could you take the lives of innocent animals for sport? And he said, I'm hunting, honey bunch. I said nothing about killing. It takes no skill to kill. What takes skill is sneaking up close enough to the skittish doe to touch her. So he's not wanting to kill her. And so, like I said, these men who work for Weapon Alpha, we see here, they're tracking Wolverine's every move. And they basically said, he's on course, sir. We see on the radar. They said, you're going to be sent to track down Wolverine and take him out. And so while Wolverine is hunting in the forest here, all of a sudden, Weapon Alpha shows up out of nowhere. And finally, we're going to see a huge battle between Wolverine and Weapon Alpha. Weapon Alpha says, good to see you, Wolverine. It's time to take you down and take you back. Because we see here that Weapon Alpha actually works for the Canadian government. You recall way back in Giant Size X-Men #1 that when Professor Xavier recruited Wolverine, he used to work with this guy supposedly, but we found out that Wolverine resigned in Giant Size X-Men #1, and he says he's a free agent and he likes it that way and he's not going back. And so we're going to see that because of this argument, both Weapon Alpha and Wolverine are going to go into a big scrimmage here. And one thing we need to notice here is that Weapon Alpha calls Wolverine Weapon X. And so Wolverine used to have another name, and he went by the name of Weapon X. And so one huge battle takes place right here from the get-go. I mean, just awesome stuff. And so while Sean Cassidy and Moria are enjoying themselves in the water here, Colossus and Storm begin to talk with each other about their homelands. All of a sudden, they see Wolverine. He crashes right into that tree. They come to investigate, and then this is where they're going to meet Weapon Alpha, James McDonald. That's his real name. And so Colossus goes up to the plate, takes one huge punch at Weapon Alpha. Weapon Alpha's like, who are these people and how do they know Wolverine? Storm comes up, throws this huge branch at her with electricity. Just awesome stuff. All of a sudden, Weapon Alpha uses some of his beam here. It strikes the body of Colossus, but it ricochets, hitting Moria right in square in the head. She falls into the water. Sean Cassidy leaps in to save her from drowning. Sean Cassidy, mad at Weapon Alpha now, goes with full speed ahead towards Weapon Alpha here, uses his sonic screen. We see Weapon Alpha gets out of the way here. He's like, I got to get out of here. I don't even know anything about these mutants. I'll come back another day. So he pops out of existence here and teleports away. Storm tries to find him with a big storm here, but she could not find Weapon Alpha. So Colossus is like, Wolverine, that man spoke like he knew you. Who is he? Why is he after you? And Wolverine says, once upon a time, Petey, we were buddies, almost brothers. I'm real sorry, folks, but today's fracas was just the beginning. And from here on in, things are going to get worse. And so we're going to be looking forward to some more action. Weapon Alpha should be coming back to fight the X-Men soon. And so next issue we'll be looking at The Shadow of the Gun. What's that all about? We're going to have to find all this out in issue number 110. Hope to see you there. And go ahead, give this video a like. Comment down below what you like about this issue. Subscribe if you have not. And I will see y'all in the next one.